Nikki, coming home.
Emma McCarthy in Benidorm. You can read more from Gareth Southgate's news conference on the BBC Sport website and app. And a reminder that you can watch the final live on BBC One tomorrow night. And we will have all the build-up during the day here on BBC News. Now, I just want to bring you some breaking news that we're getting. I want to take you to some live pictures from a former President Trump rally. Now, we are hearing reports that shots have been fired at this President Trump rally. Now, this is taking place in Pennsylvania. We understand that the former president has just been bundled into one of those cars. Of course, all former presidents have a massive Secret Service detail with them at all times. You can see there lots of emergency vehicles and cars that are whizzing away from there. Now, President Trump was due to address supporters at this presidential rally. It's in Pennsylvania. Now, this is the swing state that he won in 2016, but was defeated there by Joe Biden 4 years later. This all comes ahead of the Republicans' National Convention, which is scheduled to start on Monday. This is when it is likely that Donald Trump will name who his pick is as running mate for the presidential election in November. Now, we understand that, as I said, Secret Service agents escorted him to a vehicle. We are also hearing that he was seen raising a fist in the air as he got into the car. So if you are just joining us, the breaking news is that shots have been fired at a Trump rally in Pennsylvania. Donald Trump was due to address those supporters. I'm not sure if he'd actually gone onto the stage or not at the time, but you can see that there is a lot of activity there from the security services, and they have taken former President Donald Trump away. Secret Service, of course, with Donald Trump at all times of the day, 24 hours a day, as with all former presidents and, of course, the current president, President Biden. You can see that the situation, the people there are quite calm. There's not a lot of panic at that rally at the moment. So it certainly hasn't been lots of people running. So the security services obviously jumped into operation very quick there. But President Trump, former President Trump, taken away from that rally in Pennsylvania by the security services, the Secret Service. We can see there that the crowd are quite calm. What I can now show you is the moment that this happened. So there he is on stage. So there you can see the moment that that shot was fired. Donald Trump came to the ground and is surrounded by the security services that you can see there. What I am going to do now is we're going to cross live to our colleagues in Washington for the very latest on this, as shots have been fired at the Donald Trump rally in Pennsylvania. You can see the Secret Service and armed police coming up onto that stage. Let's cross to our colleagues in Washington.
All of a sudden, from my left, we heard a bunch of shots and people started running towards us. So we just took off. People were, running, tripping, falling, and we just ran until we were across the street behind the building.
Did you see anyone hit at all?
No, but I spoke with my mom on the phone, and I think, from what I understand, they got him. I don't know.
We can't confirm that at this stage at all.
But
could you tell where the shooting was coming from? Was it
was
from the
coming
crowd or from outside of the crowd?
I think it was like one of these buildings back here.
Right. So you think it was coming from higher up, possibly?
Behind the fences, yeah.
Okay. And what was the atmosphere like in the crowd at that moment when it started?
Panic.
Did people start running?
Yeah.
Right.
And they were
Very
running
upsetting.
and tripping over each other, and Yeah.
Yeah. And do you know, did the police move in pretty quickly?
From what I saw, yeah, there were police officers in the field, like right beyond the fence, and they took off immediately. So.
Okay. And what's the situation in there now? You've just been there a few moments ago. What's the situation look like in there when you left?
People are leaving.
Right.
I'm sure they got him off stage.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Okay, Paige.
I don't know.
Well, you take care when you,
Thank
and
you.
sorry you've had to witness that. So, Carl, the situation very, very unclear at the moment about what has happened. Someone mentioned, and we have no reason to back this up. We have no facts to back this up, that there may have been some snipers outside of the crowd. We don't know whether that's true or not. Someone else shouted as they went by, I think they got him, but we don't know any of those facts yet. We're waiting to see. A very, very confused situation. But it does seem very clear that at Donald Trump's final rally before the Royal Republican National Convention, there does seem to have been some kind of pretty serious shooting incident here. And the crowds, the speech has stopped, Donald Trump is off stage, the police and the military are involved, and people are leaving the scene, and everyone is obviously clearly very worried about what's happening.
Gary, I was able to see, we were watching, of course, as these things played out. We had a live shot of your camera. We were able to see you sort of taking cover. I just want to ask you, what did you hear when you were there? How loud were those shots? Did you have a sense of kind of what was happening? You were outside, we should say, of that actual rally.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, it's difficult to say. I was standing sort of with the rally sort of ahead of me to the left, and I could hear the shots happening.
Have some respect.
I could hear the shots happening.
Have some respect.
Excuse me, ma'am. Excuse me.
No, have some
Excuse me, sir.
respect.
We're telling
There's people that lost lives. Have some
We're
respect.
telling the public what's happened. They have a
No,
right to know.
have some respect.
The public have a right to know
Have
what's happening.
respect.
We have respect.
Have respect.
People have a right to know. Okay. So what I heard, Carl, was probably a couple of 100 meters away, a rapid number of shots, possibly 6 or 8 shots. It's difficult to tell the number, but it was clearly gunfire. And that's all we know at this stage. We don't know. Clearly, there may well have been people injured. Clearly, the speech has stopped. Donald Trump has been taken off stage. But the facts are very, very unclear at the moment.
Gary, stay with us here. I just want to bring our audience a bit more information that we're getting in, and this is coming from the AFP news agency. It says that Donald Trump was seen with blood on his ear as he was removed from the rally stage. It doesn't mean that we know that, of course, he was struck by any gunfire. That could have been, we saw that moment that the president went down to the stage. That could have been from that moment. Again, that report coming in from the AFP news agency. And just to bring our viewers up to date, this is just developing at a rally in Pennsylvania. This is a Trump rally where we have heard reports from Reuters that shots have been fired. We heard there from our correspondent, Gary O'Donoghue, that he was able to hear those shots. Bystanders also hearing several shots fired, and I believe we can see that moment now when this all took place. Let's take a look at that.
Take a look at what happened.
Just moments ago, you could hear the shots being fired. Interesting to see. You could see the president seem to grab towards his ear at about that moment. Again, we're just speculating at this point. We don't know anything more about the state of the president himself or whether or not he was struck by any shots, but you could hear very clearly in that moment that shots were being fired. We were able to see the president, the former president, Donald Trump, being taken away, surrounded by his security detail. He was put into an armored vehicle. He was taken away. We'll have to try to find out where he was taken, but presumably he'll be taken to a safe location and somewhere where he may receive some sort of medical treatment. And Gary O'Donoghue, our senior North America correspondent, is just outside of that rally.